Good evening and welcome. I want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening for Case of the Mondays. The Halter Ranch Winery is a winery that's very near and dear to my heart. It's a place I have visited twice in recent years, and it's an absolutely stunning property located on the west side of Paso Robles. Without any further ado, thank you for being here this evening and coming to try these wines. And Kevin, thank you for coming so far.
We're going to get started, and I'm not going to wait 25 minutes to start trying wines because I know everybody's sitting there going, gosh, there's wines right in front of me and I can't have them. A little bit about Halter Ranch, and since 2011 we've actually planted the rest of what we consider our current property, which is 281 acres planted to grapes. We got 85% red, we make about 8% rosé, 7% white. It's about a 60-40 split, Bordeaux and Rhone, and we produce about 15,000 cases total right now. We're in the tasting room, we have a wine club, and basically 8 states, of which, we're not in Costco, we're not in Bevmo, we're not in any of those places. We're in places like Bern's and the Epicurean, mainly in restaurants. We're going to go into a little bit of our Côte de Paso Blanc here, which is what you have in your glass. The only white that you see on the plate here, but this is a white Rhone blend, but it's predominantly Grenache Blanc. In reference to my wife, who's a good sport, she calls this wine dangerous because the way it goes down, the way it's easy to drink, what it pairs with, either while you're cooking or after you finish cooking, you can go through a bottle very, very fast with this. One of the things we're looking for in this wine, we do a lot of, everything is a neutral oak, everything's barrel fermented, but a neutral oak. And we're looking for trying to be everything but Chardonnay. This wine is white flowers, it's jasmine, it's layers of honey, and I think it's a grape variety, Grenache Blanc, that could be really, really successful if people just started drinking it. Let's talk about rosé. As most of you know, rosé, generally speaking, comes from red grapes. But there's different ways of making rosé. We're fortunate because we have 9 acres that we can farm specifically for rosé. So what we do is we crop it at 2 to 3 tons per acre, and we pick it at 22 bricks, where you're going to get a conversion rate of 0.6 and end up with less than 14% alcohol. But probably more importantly, you're going to maintain the natural acidity that comes from the wine. The biggest mistake of people is assuming that rosé is done by Labor Day, when it's a great Thanksgiving wine. It works really, really well with turkey. So if we can convince people to say, okay, spring to Thanksgiving, that would be ideal because it really does last that long and it's really good. We're moving on to our next wine here, which is our wine that we call Côte de Paso Red. So it's a blend of Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and another very odd grape variety called Tannat. We only use about 11% in this specific vintage, but this is a wine that is, in our opinion, our best food pairing wine. We don't use new oak on this wine. All the varietals are kind of singing together in an orchestra on this standpoint. And then the other blend that we have to go with this course is our Synthesis, which is a blend of Cabernet and Syrah. About 78% Cabernet, 22% Syrah, the 2 largest varietals planted on the ranch. And this is a little bit of more of our everyday wine, a little bit lower priced wine. All of our wines are what we call SIP certified, and if you haven't heard of SIP certification, it stands for Sustainable in Practice. Our Cabernet is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. So a little bit about our Cabernet and Ancestor blend. It spends a little bit longer in oak. It's kind of the best of the best lot, and we do about 500 cases of this year, about 1,000 6-packs, so very small quantity. Probably a lot of you get out to visit, hopefully get to visit Paso Robles, and if you don't, you should, because it's definitely worth seeing.
I really appreciate you all joining us tonight for Case of the Mondays, and we will be sending an email shortly for what we'll be doing next month for our Case of the Mondays. I hope you can join us.